Hellboy is one of those characters who is not defined by just his strength, but by the unbearable weight of destiny that is consistently looming over his head. He is a person who wasn't just born different, but he was more so literally created to end the world. A creature of hell summoned by the opposing party during World War II, meant to lead armies of darkness in the final apocalypse. But instead of embracing that role, Hellboy literally spends his entire life doing the exact opposite, saving the very people he was meant to destroy. That kind of tragic irony is what makes him one of the most compelling anti-heroes in all of comics, and a perfect character for me to start off my Halloween week by. Yo, what is going on, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the channel. This entire week I will be uploading basically every day just on characters that have something to do with the supernatural or the macabre. And I definitely think that Hellboy is very much a part of this topic and a character that I would really like to spotlight in general. So let's dive deeper into why I specifically feel that the fight that Hellboy is destined and born for is a fight that he will always fight against, and he will always deny and defy his own inner soul. Created by Mike Mignola in 1993, Hellboy made his debut in San Diego Comic-Con's #2 before headlining his own series under Dark Horse Comics. Here, he was introduced as a half-demon, son of a witch and demon named Azael, and was brought to Earth by the infamous sorcerer Rasputin. The opposing party hoped to use him as a weapon, a literal key for the apocalypse, but fate obviously had other plans. Professor Trevor Brotenholm of the Bureau of Paranormal Research and Defense, other known as BPRD, rescued the young demon and raised him with kindness, and then taught him how to fight the monsters instead of becoming one himself. That singular act of compassion completely rewrote his destiny, turning the beast of the apocalypse into one of Earth's most unlikely protectors. But even with that change of pace and change of kind of story of how his life was supposed to go, Hellboy's life is a never-ending tug of war between who he is and who he is meant to be. The flaming crown that appears on his head when he embraces his destiny, the massive right hand of doom that is set to unlock the apocalypse, they're literal physical reminders of the fate that he cannot escape. Everyone he meets in the supernatural world sees him as a weapon, a king of hell, a harbinger of destruction, yet Hellboy's simple response is always defiance, and basically just say, nah, I'ma do my own thing. He doesn't deny what he is. He just refuses to be told what that means. His story comes from that constant rebellion against fate itself, an act of defiance that defies not just his identity, but everything that everybody else expects from him. Every time a demon, a witch, an elf, or a prophet tells him to embrace his purpose and embrace the kind of destiny that he was meant to have, he flips his destiny like a bird and just basically just flips everything across the scene and does whatever he feels would be the best choice for himself. He doesn't want to be this destruction of absolute everything. He doesn't want to end all of these things because he's grown up on this side of the world. He's grown up with humanity. He's grown up with every other person, and while they might obviously not always enjoy looking at him or whatever, he might feel like an outcast, what keeps Hellboy grounded isn't his power, it is that heart. Despite his horns, his tail, his infernal origins, or whatever, Hellboy has more humanity than most humans. He drinks with friends, he cracks jokes in the middle of chaos, and he mourns every innocent life taken on his watch. His compassion isn't rebellious, it's basically actively him truly showing his actual motive of the kind of character that he is. His compassion isn't just that rebellion and showing people that he doesn't want to be the person that they wanted to be. It's him actually having these emotional attachments to everybody else. He sees the beauty in imperfection. the laughter and the absurd, and the hope where people would see something completely deeply flawed. Hellboy may have been forged in hellfire, but his soul burns brighter than any other flame in existence. That's the contradiction that defines him. A creature of darkness who embodies the best of humanity. His story reminds us, the readers and the viewers, that it's not what you look like or where you came from that defines you, but it's who and what you choose to do with everything that you're given and how you choose to live your life. Time and time again, Hellboy shows us how he chooses to live his life. Hellboy has been given every chance to fulfill his destiny, to take the crown, to lead Hell's armies, to end the world and remake it in his image. And every time he refuses. But not because he's afraid of what he might become, but because he believes in free will, because he believes in his friends, because he has something that keeps him from ever going off that very tempting edge of overwhelming power. Because yes, absolute power completely will corrupt absolutely, but if you have something that's keeping you from taking that power, it's the best case possible scenario. In his eyes, destiny isn't a roadmap, it's a prison. Hellboy knows the moment that he accepts it, the moment that he accepts who he's supposed to become, that he stops believing in himself and form the seed of destruction to start the wild hunt, his life of basically pleasure and actually having these good people around him will end. His life will become a cycle of temptation that he cannot any longer resist, will cause every problem and lose everything that he's gained throughout his entire lifetime on Earth. Even after his death, when he literally descends into hell, he still doesn't surrender. He fights, not for victory, for the right to choose his own path, the right to choose who he wants to be, because that's what makes his defiance so meaningful. It's not about beating the prophecy, it's about owning his own identity in spite of it. Hellboy's story is equal parts tragedy and triumph. He is doomed to fail in a sense that nobody can ever truly outrun their destiny forever. If it's a path that you're going to have to go on at some point, all you can do is prolong it. But what makes him an iconic hero and really more heroic is that he never stops trying. Every monster he defeats, every innocent life that he saves, every time that he chooses compassion over rage, it's just another small act of defiance against the cosmic order that is trying to claim him so heavenly and so heavily. He isn't trying to fight for glory. He isn't trying to prove that he's not a monster. He's just simply trying to be himself, a good man doing what he can in a world that keeps trying to make him something else. And that's quite honestly beautiful, and that's the beauty of his story, because even though it is a story about all of these hellish things and all of these scary things, this supernatural, macabre, and parts of the world that we might not want to talk about, the character of Hellboy is still one of those characters that has so much beauty in the way that he is written that you can't help but admire his entire character. Because at the end of the day, Hellboy is easily one of the greatest battles in basically contention for the kind of character that he is and the battles that he has to face in terms of his own mental mind and the people that he needs to kind of fight along the way to not become who he needs to become. Because his greatest battle isn't against those demons, devils, or cosmic prophecies. It is against the chains of his own life and his own path that is basically always coming closer and closer, whether it's every minute, every second, or whatever. Every path that he takes, every step that he takes leads him to that destiny that he's so heavenly trying to fight. His real victory lies in that act of resistance. By choosing to fight for humanity, by refusing to accept the role that Hell has intended for him, Hellboy becomes something that's far more powerful than a beast of the apocalypse. He's a living symbol of free will itself. Because destiny may have written his name in the beginning, but Hellboy writes his own ending. And as long as there's fire in his heart and the strength to basically do whatever he wants, he'll keep fighting for a world that has never truly seen him in the correct light, and for a world that he's never meant to be safe in. But with all that said, I hope that you guys did enjoy this video. As I said, I will be posting daily for this entire week, and these videos will very much range in how long they are. So come back, check every day to see which video I come up with that day. And if you guys have any other character that you guys think would fit the week, please. I've got maybe 1 or 2 spots still open for videos that I might want to do. But if you guys did enjoy this breakdown, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel for more videos like this, and remember, sometimes the greatest heroes are the ones who fight the fate that they were born into. And with all that said, I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.